Hello, I'm John Petullo, a retired educator. Welcome to a forum of candidates running to become the mayor of Antioch. Today's forum is sponsored by the Contra Costa County Elections Division, Contra Costa TV, the League of Women Voters of Diablo Valley, and West Contra Costa. We are holding this roundtable via Zoom and taping it in the Contra Costa County TV studio. Please note that the candidates' names that appear on the screen may include their campaign email addresses in case you wish to contact them. The candidates for this office are Lamar Thorpe, who will be unable to attend, Gabriel Makinano, Julio Jesse Mendez, Rakesh Christian, who may join us soon, and Sean Wright. We will begin the forum by asking questions for each candidate to answer. While the time is not monitored, please be mindful of the length of your answer, as we want to give all the candidates the opportunity to tell the voters their thoughts and platforms. So let's begin with the questions. Number one, if elected, what would your top priority be? And we will start with Gabriel Makinano.
My top priority would be public safety.
Public safety.
Would you like me to expound?
If you would like to, you have some time.
So I believe that, making our schools a lot safer, our community a lot safer, and bridging the gap with with law enforcement and the community.
Okay, excellent. Next will be Julio Mendez.
Yes, my first priority is to address the crisis that we're facing head on. So we're in a COVID crisis, and that's going to continue to play itself out. We need to take a crisis footing, address this with urgency and action, take this opportunity to create an economy that is more self-sustainable, and invest in the community to help us come out of this even stronger than we're going into it. So.
Okay, thank you. Sean Wright.
Yeah, my number one priority is to continue the growth of our police force. We have increased our police force since I've been on from 90 officers to now 116. We just got a $750,000 grant to be able to add 6 community resource officers into our schools to help with safety. We are continuing to make our community a safe place. There's an opportunity in this election to be able to select between candidates. There's 2 Antiochs, one that wants to continue to support and improve the police, and one that wants to defund the police. And it's important that we continue to support our police department.
Okay, in the same order, let's go to question number 2. What are your thoughts about the current budget and financial status of Antioch?
Under the current leadership, we're experiencing an impending financial crisis. But I've taken the opportunity to speak with some funders and to bring some things to the waterfront and create more businesses for the city of Antioch. We're in a crisis of public safety. It's going to be hard to be able to have any type of business if we don't have safety. Things being going on in our community, we have to fix. In order for us to be able to bring businesses back to the city of Antioch, we have to create a safety net for our community to feel safe and be able to bring these businesses. But we've been working on some plans to bring some ships to the city of Antioch to revitalize the waterfront and create more businesses down at the waterfront.
Okay. And the next one on here will be Julio.
Yeah, so I'm hearing a lot about safety, and I'm hearing a lot about increasing funding for police officers. I think that's something that we've done over 3 times, at least in the past few years. Under the current council, things do not feel that much more safe. And that was before we had a crisis to deal with. So I'm thinking we need to take a step back, look at how all our money is allocated, from education, the general fund. We really need to dig down deep and figure out where our money is going and how we can create a self-sustaining Antioch that doesn't just become a one-issue city, right? Safety is something that is intertwined with your economy. Are the people who are poor or suffering or don't have food to eat on the table? What are we doing to provide an Antioch that they can be part of the economy and they can feed their family? The police are very important in keeping safety in a reactionary position. But what are we doing to lay the groundwork for a community that can thrive, especially in a situation where our budget situation is going to be much worse off over the next 4 years than it has been in the past? And so I'm just not seeing a sense of urgency or a holistic approach to solving these problems. I'm seeing a lot of one issue, it's about this one thing. And unfortunately, I think people can see that it's more complex than that. So.
All right. And now, Sean?
Yeah, under my administration, we've been able to increase our reserve to almost $40 million. So on a $70 million budget, we've almost gotten to the point where we're over 50% of a reserve. That means year over year, we've been adding to our reserve to be able to prepare for this kind of a COVID crisis. And so there's a couple things that we've done to address that. Number one, we've invested in a very holistic approach into our community to be able to not be hurt too much by one resource, by retail or other businesses going out of business. So as COVID has hit many cities very hard, Antioch is in a very good position to be able to take some of the sting away from that. We've also worked on the very first Northern California desal project to be able to come in. 60% of a $70 million project we've been able to have paid for by the state of California. That project, we are going in and breaking ground in November for the first of its kind to provide safe, reliable drinking water for our community, even during the crisis of a drought. So we are financially in a position where we have stepped up how much we pay for, how much we've been paying on our unfunded liabilities, which has lowered that amount by over $25 million. We are doing some incredible things looking into the future to make sure that we are financially stable and sound while keeping and growing our police department.
All right. The third question, and here again we'll be going in the same order, is what do you see as the primary work of the council? And we will start again with Gabriel.
Well, first and foremost, I think that we have to have a different outlook in our city council. We've been trusting in our city council for many years to make the decisions to make our city safer. And that has yet to happen. We can sound good all we want to, but nothing has been done for our community. I've been out in these streets for the last 16 years to cause safety in our community through ceasefire night walks, and I've yet to see anyone from the city council to join and do something in regards to our safety. Feeding the homeless. I've yet to see anyone that wants to do something different about our homeless population. I'm out there every day feeding the homeless and creating a safe atmosphere, not only with our gang affiliations in our community. I've been able to bridge the gap between our neighborhood and our community with law enforcement, partnering with law enforcement to be able to do these ceasefire night walks in these troubled areas. And it's important that we learn to bridge the gap. We need a new outlook in our city council to make better decisions with our community. We have an amazing community, but we need leadership that's going to want to partner with the community, bring the community back to the table. We can't just make decisions in our nice offices and not know what our community's going through. We have to get back into our community and ask the questions of the community and bring the community back. We can make all the decisions that we want to. If the community isn't with us, then what are we doing? Our community is wanting answers in regards to what's going on with our city council. Why haven't we made the decisions to make our communities a lot safer and start thriving as a whole?
Okay. Same question. We will go with Julio.
Yeah, I am seeing, we have 100,000 people, and the community I don't think is being fully represented by our current city council. From what I get is it looks like we're taking our cues from other folks that are above us. The police are very important to our community, but that's 110 people that we're looking to get to, or 120 people out of 100,000 that we have in our community, which could come together to help with keeping our community safe, rather than constantly, we've already given 2 raises and then we're looking to get, and we've given a third grant for 750,000. And then you're seeing someone come in and say, oh no, we're gonna invest even more. The community is, over the past 4 years, this does not look like a cleaner Antioch to me. It doesn't. We're continuing to deteriorate in other areas, and we're not seeing an investment in us as people. We're seeing an investment in property, we're seeing an investment in police, but we're not seeing an investment in people. And we're not gonna have a strong community unless we switch that. So I'm saying that city council right now operates kind of like a top down, and I'm looking to get a community that operates from the ground up. And that's how we're gonna get some real energy flowing into our politics and help us become the Antioch that we talk about, right? The opportunity lives here, Antioch. It's not going to happen from, just giving our money to one group and not looking at any of the other issues. So.
Okay. And now Sean.
Yeah, the council works hard to be able to drive a community that is united. And me and the people that I'm running against, Mr. Thorpe, is really trying to divide our community. We've got to come together. We have to come together as a community and come together around a couple of things to be able to drive economic development and jobs for our people, jobs so that they can work right here where they live. And so because you have to create an environment at City Hall that enables people and gets people that want to invest in our community. And we've been able to do that. We've seen over $5 million in investment in our downtown. We've got a project that's coming forward in the Summersville Town Center area that's over a $70 million project to be able to bring jobs right here into our community. One of the greatest things that I have as mayor, and I'm most proud, is the endorsements that I have from local business owners like Tunde from Afric Restaurant, to Marcy Kendall from Bootfit Boot Camp, and those endorsements of me working directly with our community members who are entrepreneurs, trying to create the jobs of the future, trying to be able to create a community where we have jobs for our youth. That's what I'm most proud of, is those endorsements, as I've worked with those businesses to be able to see right here on the ground, those businesses to be able to succeed, and helping them through this COVID time to be able to come out on the other side, able to continue.
Okay. The third question for all of you is, what do you see as the primary work for the council?
The primary work for the council, well, first and foremost, having a council that is for our community. We are making decisions for our community without engaging the community with these decisions. We can't just sit, like I said, we can't just sit in our office and talk amongst each other and say, oh, well, what do we need to do? No, we have to be out in that community. We can't be scared to be out in these communities that we say that we are in office and not be in our communities, asking what they think that they need, what they want. We can make all the decisions that we want. We can make it look very, very nice. We're making this money, we're making that money. But if your community isn't backing you, what is it for? Is it for you to look good, or is it for us to be able to thrive as a community so we can be proud of our community? We can be proud for the city of Antioch. and we can say we honestly did whatever we could for our community, not for us, not for our pocket, not to make ourselves look good. What are you doing in our community right now? I have yet to see not one politician, except for when it comes to elections, to be out in our community. That is wrong. We need our people back in these decisions. We need our community to back us up with our decision making. If we're not in our communities, asking our community what they think we need, then we're making it all wrong. We need to be back in our communities talking about what's going on. That's why we're having problems with our gang affiliations. That's why we're having problems with our youth. We have nothing in our schools for our youth. We have nothing in our communities for our youth. We had boys and girls clubs. We had a lot of different things when I was growing up in the city of Antioch, and that is gone. And our youth have to pay for their own sports. That's not how it was when we were growing up. Where is the disconnect? That's the problem, and that's why we're in the red right now. That we're not thriving. We're not saving money for these pandemics. We're thinking about ourselves because we're not in the community asking the community what we need, and that's why we're having protests right now. That's why they want answers, because we are disconnected from our community.
All right, and now we will go to Julio.
Yeah, I think Gabriel is kind of one of those folks who gets the passion of the situation in the direness of it. I would say that beyond listening to the community, which it's a little time, we definitely need to continue to do that, open the doors. I think the city council needs to be more transparent in how the money is being spent. I see some of these city council calls, there's only 15 people. We need to get more people of our 100,000 strong engaged in this. I think they just feel so disconnected. So we have an opportunity now with change candidates to actually change its community for the better. I think the next step also is a vision. So what kind of a vision can we create for our community? I know that if we do more self-sustainable projects, we're gonna be a much more powerful community that can stand on its own, rather than one that is constantly looking out to maybe home developers or a big company to come and let's give them some tax breaks and let them kind of depress our wages and things like that. We as a community, we have a lot of intelligent people. We can come together to solve our challenges and create an Antioch that we're all proud of. So we're not seeing that in our current city council. I'm seeing a lot of window dressing. I'm seeing a lot of relationships. You know, you can drop a couple of business owners that you talk to, but I'm telling you, there are business owners that haven't even started their business yet. There are people in Antioch High School and Deer Valley High School who will be our next business owners, cooperative business owners, people who know where the economy is going. And those business owners that you just mentioned can be part of a mentorship process, but there is no connecting the dots right now with folks. There's not. And yeah, we need to move this forward. And I think that's the leadership that we need in the Antioch City Council.
Okay. All right, now we'll go to Sean.
Yeah, the priority work for council, again, number one is public safety. Number two is cleaning up our communities. When it comes to actually talking to our communities, we've gone into the Sycamore area. We've heard from the churches. We've heard from the community members. We've come together to look at Contra Park, to be able to hear what they want, to be able to then provide some of that, and then to go to the state of California with a grant proposal, which we were awarded $4 million to be able to clean up Sycamore and the Contra Park for that community, based on what the community wanted for that park. And so we are going out, we're listening to them, we're helping them. It's exciting to see those things coming to Antioch because of what our community members have been asking for and be able to work with them. We've got to continue to drive for a clean community that is safe for our residents. And as we do that, we've got to support our police department. And we've got to, one of the candidates, Mr. Thorpe, going for mayor, is trying to spend $1 million on a homeless hotel, to be able to lease a hotel, to be able to put the homeless in next to a school in a neighborhood with homes. That is not the Antioch that I want. We need to work on those things. We need to partner with the state and the county, as we've done with so many other things, to be able to bring needed resources in our community. And as we do that, clean up the community that we live in so that there's pride here.
Okay. The last question, here again in the same order, and it's one that all of you have touched upon. It is, what kind of a relationship should the council have with the community? And that seems to be a thread that all of you have touched upon. So let's expand upon that for the last question, starting with Gabriel.
Our relationship should be number one with our community. Our city council needs to be communicating with our community. We need some community advocates that the city council is working with to be able to bridge that gap. That has not been happening. And we, like I said, we can make our neighborhoods look really, really nice and clean and have that pride. But where is your connection with your community? That is the question. Where is our connection with our community? Our community is in outrage because there is a disconnect and they are not being heard. That relationship needs to be bridged. We need to make an advocate for the community that the city council is working hand in hand with, so our voices can be heard and not just the city council.
Okay. Next, we will go
I
in the
would
next
say,
order.
So I'm seeing $4 million. I'm not seeing the cleanliness that you're talking about. The other thing is, we're talking about, uniting people and things like that, but we're attacking other candidates and we're not really talking about the vision of our future, And so you're saying on one hand that you're bringing people together, but at the same time, by example, that's the opposite, right? So we've got to stop trying to make it things that it's not. What we're trying to do, we care about this community and we want us to live up to our opportunity and our potential. And we're not going to do that by attacking each other. And as far as a city council, the relationship, the city council needs to understand and as mayor, we are servants of the 110,000 residents, okay? We serve the residents, and not just in District 4, District 3, in all districts, District 2, District 1, we serve every single person in this city. And I want the people in the city to take that in and say, you know what, you're right. You are our city council. You work for us. And you are our police. We appreciate the work you're doing, but I need to see, that's a very pretty star, but I need to see, where's the funds being allocated, right? How is that $4 million spent? I need to see that. And that's what we need to do. We need to bring transparency into this situation. We need to bring connection, and we need to serve the resident. We need to come in as servant. That's my.
All right. And Sean.
I agree. I think service is exactly what we need to be doing. When I got in as mayor, I started a youth project where I brought all the local pastors together from many churches, 13 different churches, to be able to start and look at youth programs. And I went to the very churches and I said, listen, as a city, we've got to partner together. We have to work together to be able to bring forward the projects that we need. Now, as a city, what I did was I was able to set aside $1 million for youth programs. Now, we brought in a youth coordinator who's now looking at how that's going to be allocated and how that's going to be resourced so that it really does help the members of our community that right now don't have those things to do. I also went directly to the Boys and Girls Club. I talked to the executive director. I brought him right into Antioch in the old 24-hour fitness at the mall, and I said, I will pay rent. I will pay that rent from the city if you guys will bring a Boys and Girls Club into Antioch. I brought him right here. I toured it with him. And basically, they came back and said no. And I'm still pushing because I think it's important for our community. I have worked with our community. I've gone to the churches. I've created those relationships. And those relationships are what it takes to unite us. We are a culturally diverse community, one that represents a wonderful Antioch, one that represents, we don't have a community where we say, oh, that's where all the Latinos live, or that's where all the different, culture live. We we're not a melting pot in our community. We're a salad. We come together and our culture really makes it something awesome because we're all different, but we all come together to make something great. And it's that uniting us together around cultural differences and around understanding one another that's important, especially during this time of racial sensitivity, as we come together and learn how to go to the next step in racial relationships and also as a community working together to see what we can really, truly can become.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. That was the last of the questions. At this point, we are going to allocate 2 minutes for each of you to sum up using your closing statements. And the candidates will present in, again, that a reverse order from what those first questions were, starting with Sean. So we will turn that over and let you start your summation when you are cued to do that.
Antioch, you have a chance in November. There's a choice. It's a choice between two Antiochs. It's an Antioch that supports our police department or wants to defund our police department. It's an Antioch that wants to house all of the homeless in East Contra Costa in a hotel, or somebody that wants to work together with our county to be able to work on a regional approach that takes all the cities together to be able to drive forward for change for those in our community that need help. It's an Antioch where we try to unite or we try to divide. The person that's running against me, Mr. Thorpe, has brought in protesters, protesters that have put my name on a KKK
names out of this,
poster.
please. Let's keep the names out and just focus on the issues.
Put my name on a KKK poster. I denounce that. That's horrible. That's not who I am. It's not what I represent. We need to come together, we unite tonight to an Antioch that drives forward to a better future. And that's the Antioch that we need to choose. We have that opportunity come November. We've got a desal project that's coming. We've got jobs. Amazon just came into Oakley. What does that mean for Antioch going forward? The jobs that can create and the rollover that happens to be able to bring jobs into our community and people into our community. My name is Sean Wright. I'm running for mayor for another 4 years to be able to drive Antioch into the future, to be able to drive it into one that unites us, brings us together. And I ask for your vote in November. Check me out at mayorseanwright.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Julio, you will be up next.
Yeah, neighbors and friends, I really appreciate you joining us here. It's very clear to me, and I think to everyone here, that we're in a time of crisis. I mean, you trust your ears, trust your eyes, and your lungs, right? We're breathing in smoke as we speak. In this crisis, though, it also represents an opportunity for us to come together and solve the problems that have been dogging our community for a very, very long time. The way we're going to get there is we have to acknowledge that we have a problem, right? We're going to have to listen to our neighbors, and we're going to have to learn from their experiences. From there, we can come together to actually solve problems. And I know there's love in this community. I know there's a lot of it. Lifetime-long Antiochians who've been here their whole lives, I see it. Newer working professionals, they're hoping, they're doing everything they can to help us live up to the promise that we made when we had them come out there and when they came and wanted to join our community. Also, we have students who are demanding change, right? And there's a lot of passion and a lot of energy, and these folks know technology. So, once we acknowledge, once we listen, once we learn, right? And there's not time. We need to do this now. We're going to be in a position to lead. We're going to lead by doing a self-sustainable Antioch. Let's look at like cooperative. Let's create our own electricity. Let's focus on skill development. The jobs of the future, right? We don't need a big company to come and try to take they're focused on themselves. We need to come together and focus on our community. I'm very excited. Change is on the ballot. Now's your chance to hold our current council accountable, hold our leadership accountable, and take ownership of your community, right? We can continue with the slow, steady deterioration that we feel, or we can take us in a different direction. 110,000 people, Antioch strong. I'm looking for you this election.
All right. And the last person to present will be Gabriel.
Antioch. I've been an advocate for the last 16 years in my community. I've been helping the youth with the disconnect with their schools. I've been helping with the disconnect with their teachers. I've been in our school systems and to see what the disconnect looks like. We need a thriving community that goes behind our youth to help our youth to be able to be the successful business owners that we need, the next mayors, the next city council. We need to groom our youth right now. This is a vital opportunity for us to make a change for our community. I've been in the encampment in there feeding the homeless, asking them what they need. I'm not just going to say, oh, yes, we need this. Oh, yes, we need that. We need our community involved with the decisions that we need. And I am the person that is bridging the gap for our law enforcement to be back with our community, doing these ceasefire night walks in these troubled areas. I've yet to see that connection with our city council. We need a new outlook on our city council. We need a new mayor that's going to be for the community, not for the decisions that the city council wants to make. We want to bridge that gap to our community so that our community feels like they are being heard. We have business after business after business that's leaving our city. It's not because of those pretty amounts of money that we're talking about. It's because they are not being heard. Their voice has not been heard for the last 4 years, for the last 8 years. Their voices have not been heard, and they are leaving. And that's why the Boys and Girls Club doesn't want to come in here, because we need new leadership in our community so that we don't have to worry about if our stuff is going to be vandalized. We need people that are going to be listening to our youth. We don't need to understand the artistical youth that we have behind bars. We need to hear their voice right now. We have an opportunity to hear their voice as you elect me as mayor for the city of Antioch. Thank you very much.
This concludes our forum for the candidates of mayor of Antioch on November 3rd. Once again, these candidates are Lamar Thorpe, Gabriel Makinano, Julio Jesse Mendez, Rakesh Christian, and Sean Wright. For more information on these candidates, visit votersedge.org. The Elections Division has set up multiple drop-off boxes around the county. For the one nearest you, please visit www.cocovote.us or call the office at 925-335-7800. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to vote by November 3rd.